Hello, PTGers, YouTubers, wives and girlfriends, all the goblins, everyone. Have I missed everyone? That's covered everyone, right?
Yeah, should do.
Yeah. That's all the categories. And dwarves, I guess. They're in there as well.
We don't want dwarves.
Yeah, actually, everyone but dwarves. Hello, welcome. This is another battle report. But for once, it's not Gobbo, right? So the last two have
not
been
me playing it. Yeah,
right. Last two you've been sort of taken over. But here we are back with oh my god, with a battle down the club. You do not know how long it's been since I wanted to say that. And this was
in
like
real life.
Oh my god! In like it's like 3 days ago or something like that. But yeah, class. So yeah, how are you, mate?
I'm really well. Yourself?
Yeah, all right.
Looking forward to this. I remember you playing it, and I don't know the results. So I'm excited to see who dies first.
Yes, it's always a gimmick when it's the Beastman, I think. But anyway. Yes, here we are against Warriors of the Dark God army and Tony from the club. So
Tony,
he's taking. This is a proper wargaming. What are they called? Fantasy Wargaming Podcast duo, because it's Tony playing, but it's Paul's list.
right?
That it's like a mixture. There's minds collide against me. So basically, it's 2v1. So it's unfair from the start, right?
Is that how you're playing it?
That's how it's going. But yes, Beastmen versus Warriors. Lovely art again, as Noah's thing. This is my Beastheads army. That hasn't changed much since the battle against Saurians. I think this is my second one. I think it's only my second one with Beasts.
I think so, with Beasts, yeah.
So yeah, I'm sort of like it's very, very similar. The difference is I've taken out a Longhorn person and I've added in a champion. But I haven't written it in this list. So the exact list is this, but the Longhorn have one less person, but the less person is a champion. So it's like 1 point cheaper than that, so it's something like that. But it's exactly the same otherwise. So you got a couple of characters in the Longhorn Death Star thing, Soothsayer and old Krugar, who I'm determined to work. Amongst many experts saying you're an idiot. But hey, I've been in that position before. So we crack on. One ambusher, a couple of raiding chariots, one big-ish unit wild horns, and some monsters to try and liven it up. Again, similar to last time, I'm just trying out. I wanted to try out as much as possible from the Beast Herds, and I'm going to stick with it for 5 or 6 battles. Not changing much, for example, the champion here and there, whatever, just to see what works and what doesn't, really. Because I'm planning on it being my new army. So
good.
We shall see. So I'm number 5.
This year.
This week. Warriors of Dark God's army, yeah, so... it seems a bit MSU-y, although the Chosen Knights and Wretched Ones aren't, I wouldn't consider MSU things. But it's one character and the rest units, which is something a few players that I know play, Nav included. Yeah. And yeah, just like everything on that sorcerer, Wizard Master, 4 pages, all that stuff, general, whatever. Haven't got PSB because it's Warriors. I don't really need one.
No.
Because most things, if not everything here, is fearless. Everything's fearless, but the Warriors with lust can flee as well, have feign flight as well, which is mad. That's awesome. But yeah, so 2 Feldrick Elders, a couple of chariots, Chosen Knights, Wretched Ones.
So he's out-monstering and out-charitying you.
Oh yeah, by a long way. And actually, he might have a similar amount of infantry as well. Probably better magic. Yes, but yeah. Well, if you do that, wounds-wise with armor, he's definitely winning. So yeah, I didn't really know. I don't know what the matchups are like with Beastmen, so I was like, combat versus combat, pretty much. Nice to go up against a different law in Evo as well. Didn't really
Yeah,
know
definitely.
how that will affect my army, because a lot of the time I know it mainly bypasses armor, and I don't have a lot, so interesting.
Yeah.
But we did work out pretty quickly, Tony especially, which was unfortunate for me, I guess, that the heirloom and the hereditary hellfire is probably its best target is probably a Gortak,
Yes.
because it's high strength, no
Yes.
armor, no AP, but I don't have armor, so the high strength kind of So I was like, oh god. But yes, so here we go. Counter thrust and hold the center.
Cool.
Pretty happy for hold the center, because I've got 2 big units and a Death Star, but I just don't want to be done from lots of sides if I go in. And counter thrust just means we're closer together, so the combat's happening. Right.
Yes.
There's
Is it
Tony,
PTG?
who is giving us all grief with his fingers. It's a thing now on our channel. Every time he plays us, a finger or
He
2
swears at you.
comes our way. But yeah, that's us all masked up in the
Hmm?
in the thing. So social distancing, respect it,
Yep.
boys and girls. This is him not swearing. One of the rare occasions on the time when he was not swearing, and our deployment. So let's go through it, I guess. So what do we got here? We've got on his side, Forsaken One on the left, the old random mover. Chosen
Yep.
Knights. On the front line, he's got a Feldrick Elder, Flayers, Feldrick Elder, Wretched Ones, Chariot, and then behind in the centre, he's got all his 3 units of warriors, where his sorcerer goes as well, in the ruins.
Okay.
I guess expecting not to march and wanting to just sit there and take
Yeah.
cover, but it doesn't matter. On my side, so what happened? I can't remember who dropped for what. I think he put his Forsaken One down, and I was like, okay. And then he put his chariots down, because it was counter thrust. We had to put 3 each.
Yeah.
And I think then I dropped for first, wanting to. I don't know. I can't remember whether I did or not. No, I think he dropped for first. I think he was able to, and he dropped for first again, being the hold center, because there's shenanigans on my left with Krugar on the very left and the Jabberwock just next to him. So I think he went first. I'm going to put that out there now.
Okay.
So as I've said, I've got Krugar, the Centaur Chieftain, on the left. Then Jabberwock. Those white and horribly unpainted beastmen are not there. They're the ambushers behind the house. Then I've got a Gortak, Cyclops at the back, my Death Star Longhorns, my big unit of Wildhorns, Chariots, and then the Gargoyles, I want to say, on the right. Basically thinking, well, if I can chaff one of the chariots or both of the chariots, because they're quite close together, I might be able to get a charge off with my chariots. And I've got Hill, so it should work all right. He's got the Flayers, though, that can go that way as well. So, but the Flayers being in the middle like that with Vanguard and 20-inch movement or whatever it is, can literally Vanguard anything first turn. So that's why you sort of see. I don't care if he shafts both my infantry, because they're not doing anything. I don't care about charging necessarily, but I didn't want him to charge all 3 of my Centaur, Jabberwock, and Gortak. So that's why I did that. And I thought my Centaur's way out there, he can't chaff, but he could potentially chaff both of these chaps in the middle, but then it leaves my chariots out. So I'm spacing out everything I want to charge on my turn 1, because he's going first, I think is what's happening.
Yeah. It's odd that he outnumbers you.
I know.
If that makes sense.
I think it's because... Yeah, I think it's a little bit because I've put all my eggs really in the Longhorns.
Right. Okay.
Like, I've got two beefy characters, all the 26 Longhorns. The Gortak's 500 points as well, so
Yeah, I know.
As opposed to the Feldrak Elder, they're both strength 6, res 6, I believe. He has 3 up armor. I have no armor. He has the option for different weapons. I don't, but I regain wounds potentially. Is how I'm seeing it. But he's 445 points and I'm 500. So monster to monster, I'd consider Gortak my best monster from the beast herds, but he's a bit cheaper, and that's sort of, we're kind of elite beast herds, apart from the infantry. Everything else is pretty. I mean, I haven't chariot spammed. That's the thing. The chariots are quite cheap.
Yeah. That's my favourite Beastman army.
Yeah, man. Yeah. The monsters aren't, but they all offer something different. And perhaps for elite, fine tuning and stuff, you have to double up on everything so that you've got. It's just spamming. But I want things to be good with different options on their own without having to spam it. Is what I'm looking for in the army. So. Yeah, we'll see. I quite like the Jabberwock because he's got that breath weapon. I quite like the idea of the breath weapon. And he can fly. So for me, he's different things. And for 350 points, he's like really expensive chaff. Yeah. Gortak at 500 he needs to pull his weight every time for 500 points is what I'm looking at. But yeah, enough tactics. We're PTG.
That's all right,
mate. So this is Vanguard and his turn. So the reason there's something in front of Centaur Kruger is because I moved 18.1 away from his 18-inch max random mover, and he moved to there. So he just moved forward. Putting my Gortak and Jabberwock there meant his chosen knights couldn't come forward too much, which I was pleased about. And his flayers chose to go after my chariots, which means, and he's just about managed, I think, to get space out his chariots enough so that I couldn't chaff both. Because he's actually done that before against me. And I've been able to chaff things, I think the UD versus High Elves maybe was the thing that he did, and I was able to chaff both, and he was like, "I'm never doing that again against you." So unfortunately, he played it well. He didn't leave that there, and then he's just moved forward to the wretched ones. It was at this point I looked at the wretched ones and thought, actually, the unbreakableness of them is really bad for beast herds. Beast heads, I think, from what the little tiny knowledge I know about them, actually they really need to break through stuff when they can. But being unbreakable, it doesn't matter. I mean, they've got 18 wounds there. If I do 17 wounds, that's fantastic. But I ain't gonna move them. They're not gonna run or nothing like that. So I need to do 18 wounds when I go against them, which actually is a real problem for my beasts.
What I found when I did Beast infantry, Beast Herds infantry, is that same principle. You normally break someone in combat, but you wouldn't do the wounds to finish them off.
Yeah.
And you then would catch them, for example, unless you had like a random chariot to throw in as well.
Sure, yeah. So
and Unbreakable is just going to kill you.
Yeah, the Unbreakable, and the fact that they're so close, I think they roll pretty high on it. Not like unreasonably high, like 18 or nothing, but like a decent, just above average. I was like, yeah, they're right in my grill now. But yeah, so that's how he moves. So sort of doing like a sort of arc and putting both of his Feldrak Elders together, which is cool. I did another this. He knows I got an ambusher, and he knows I can come on turn 1, so he's moving 2 of his 3 units while I can't charge them to face the back. So that's a bit of space that I can't go into. Right, and that was it for his turn. I don't think he was in range of much, and I just stopped Hellfire because oh my god, it just kills a Gortak, I'm pretty sure. Well, it doesn't kill him, but it would hurt him. Yeah, it would hurt him so much I'd then have to hide him for the rest of the battle on my turn 1, which would be like ridiculous. But yeah, so I'm not liking the situation. I'm doing lots of numbers in my head, and I'm actually like, I don't know, because I don't know matchups. I don't know everything. I'm like, I don't think this is a good matchup. The more I look at all the different numbers, and actually probably what he's done is he's probably out deployed me as well, because I'm looking at all the different channels, so to speak, and I'm like, I think he's got me. So I'm not
'Cause he's got
liking.
more as well. He's got more
Yeah,
units than you. He seems to have all the angles covered.
yeah, yes. So he's playing it really well, and I'm now even on my turn one, which is mad, thinking I've got to go for something, and I have an opportunity here to double team him, needing I think a 4 with my Centaur and a 7 with my Jabberwock, both having Swift Ride and all that jazz. So I'm like, I was there for a good 10 minutes before I declared this, which must have been so boring for Tony. But I'm like, do they do it? Do they do it? I'm like, he's pretty good, and if I can get some totems off, then it'd be all right. Jabberwock, just adding that little bit extra might be okay. Do I kill it? I don't know. And then so I declare it. I'm like, come on, let's go. We're in the club. We're not here to pussyfoot around.
Exactly.
Let's go for it. Let's see what my shit can do.
What strength sensor on the charge? 7.
7. So
And you're striking first.
I'm striking first. Striking first with both. The issue, we'll come to the issue later. But
Okay.
yeah, so I'll go for it with both. I get rid of the flares because why not? It didn't bother me. I can either get rid of them now or not get rid of them and die. So I'll get rid of them. And this is what I do in terms of chaffing and rest of movement. So, my ambushes come on, and I don't know whether this is a good move, but I put them on behind because I could put them in front of that chariot and chaff him, but then I think the chariot goes through them, especially with impact hits. So what I'm thinking is, if I do this, one of these 2 chariots then has to turn to face them. Otherwise, I'm just going to plink, plink, plink for the rest of the game. And if they do turn around, I can charge them and at least prevent the impact hits. Not necessarily win, but at least prevent the impact hits is what I'm going for. I say he's moved it really well so that I couldn't chaff both chariots. As you can see, they're just a bit too far away from each other. So this is what I've done.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure. My plan, because I'm not as well. Even if I do chaff him, right? Because he's moved 12.1 away from what potentially could be an overrun. So again, he's just not leaving me any good options. And if I overrun while he's chaffed, then his wretched ones could just go into me anyway, because they're random movers. So I'm not really in a good position, is what I'm thinking. And I think putting the ambushes in front of the chariot just gives him an extra unit.
Yeah.
So that's what I've done to try and make him think, basically, that's all I'm doing.
And also potentially slingshots him faster towards you, doesn't he?
Yeah. Exactly. So then I got a bit of magic off and did 3 wounds to the wretched ones, so that's 3 less I have to do to blow through them, which is nice. I think I've moved back with my big unit. I don't know why I'm 1 less on the top right of that unit, but I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I think I moved forward with the Longhorns, moved back with the Wildhorns on that side. I get in both, which is great. And I just kind of zone with the what's it called, Gortak, because I can't afford to be charged. He's not that good at initiative either.
No, it's three, I think.
Yeah, 3, so 4 on the charge. So even if I charge those Chosen Knights, they attack me first. So I'm like, I can zone, and he doesn't want to be charged, but at the same time, I don't really want to charge. It's a bit of an issue.
The Chosen are worth more, though, aren't they?
Yes, yeah, 620, I think. So they should win on that logic. Just showing some totems. So I got extra armor on them, making them 3 up, maybe.
Yes.
Which actually against the richer ones isn't too bad because they got AP 0. So actually having 3 up armor is all right, I thought. I blow through the flayers ofs and turn to face this way. The dice are just waiting down that middle thing. I need a tray for them, really, I think, but I don't know. I haven't got to that yet. And I wiped through the Forsaken one, which is really good, because I did the maths, and they shouldn't.
You took 2 wounds on the manticore. The jabber.
Yes, took 2 because a Forsaken one, even if it dies, does all its attacks.
Right.
It's like the wretched ones. They're initiative 0, but they always attack.
Is it irredeemable or something like that?
Yeah,
yeah.
So the way they were, I managed to turn the centaur to be in the flank, which is great because he's got an AP 10 bolt thrower basically. So that's my plan.
Yeah.
But the Jabberwock had to overrun to get out of arc, so that's what he did. But yeah, I there's no way I should have defeated him in combat. Looking at the odds.
How many wounds does it have?
6 at res 6 with a 5 up Aegis. No, 5 up Fortitude. So I've got I think 5 attacks on my centaur because of devastating charge and stuff. Maybe 6 on the charge. But
did you pass your Primal Fury or whatever?
Yes, I did with the centaur, not with the Jabberwock. If he has it, I can't remember if he had it or not.
So I think it's only. Is it defensive 3, the Forsaken one?
2, I think. It's really low. So I was hitting everything on 3s with a reroll, but even if I get all my attacks off, I did the maths, I should only do 5 wounds because of the Fortitude. He just didn't save anything. He couldn't roll a 5 to save his life. So it meant my risk paid off. I guess it's like one of those things where you got to take the risk for it to pay off, but it wasn't. It was I don't think I should have got through.
You roll enough dice, some of them you're gonna fail.
Yeah, I don't think I particularly rolled that high because of all the re-rolls and stuff, but he rolled badly. So I did well there. So now I'm thinking actually with a random mover out of the flank, my flank is looking pretty good. His turn, he declares a charge with the chariot, and I flee because my thought was to get round the other side of this hill, get them relatively safe, rally them, and then start moving them because of light troops and stuff. However, I didn't quite get my flee path right, and then I just clipped this unit, which pushed them off the board. I think I rolled like a 11 or something anyway to just touch them, but they bounced through. So learning curve for me, because I actually thought in my head, I'll just flee because that means his chariot cannot redirect into anything, and I'll get a rear charge. Charge next turn. Brilliant, fantastic. However, I've just gifted him 300 points then. But I would have anyway. They wouldn't have stood up to the warrior chariot anyway. So
did he turn to face the warriors, the beasts at the back?
Oh no, he can't. He's charging, so he has to just move forward by max 6. So at least that whole idea is sort of come off. It's just the actual flee path for me I need to work on in the future. But yeah. So the idea was there, the execution not. And from his point of view, this is how he moves. He decides not to charge into my chaff gargoyles and uses his other chariot so that I can't rear charge anything, which was interesting move. It was a pretty good move, I thought, actually, because it means I don't get a +2 to the charge and stuff. Although I'll still get my plan semi-worked because I'll still get a charge on one of the chariots. So at least there's that for me. Otherwise, he just isn't scared by anything. He just moves forward with his big monsters and stuff because they eat infantry for days, you know. His wretched ones just move forward, random move as much as they can as well. Otherwise, this is how he looks. He turns his sorcerer, who's in this green unit of warriors, to turn to face my centaur and Jabberwock, and turns his chosen knights to do the same.
Oh no!
So Evo magic is pretty good against a guy with no Aegis saves. I had a choice here. I could either lose the centaur chieftain, or I could let Hellfire and all the other Evo spells go off on my Gortek.
I think you did the right thing.
Yeah, he did Hellfire to start. Although, thinking about it, I've got, with how he's moved, if I protect this guy and keep moving him around the flank, at least then he's dancing They're dancing around and trying to pinpoint him. The thing with this was that he could see both Gortak and my centaur, so he could practice both. Next turn, if I save my centaur, he can't because I'll be so far down the. So maybe I think I got this wrong, but basically I stopped Hellfire and he rolled 5 dice on Hellfire, didn't miss, and I just rolled all my. I think I had 7. I just rolled all my dice to stop that, and then he had 4 dice and just got both the Evo spells off on my Seed Centaur and killed him. So I think he did 2 and then 1. So there was always a chance that he did 1 and 1 because it's D3 or whatever, but killed him. So I was like, oh, Kruger. But he did all right, helping killing the Forsaken one. So but yeah. So on my turn again, I'm a little bit blast ditchy, for want of a better word.
You can take them.
So yeah, what I've done is I've charged my infantry into the Elder, trying to plink some wounds for later, and to hold him up, and move my charge my Longhorns with all 3 characters into the Wretched Ones, thinking I think my Longhorns can do 15 wounds. If I'm honest, with the characters as well, and they've got
halberds are great weapons.
Halberds, so not as much, but they're res 4 to my res strength 5, and I can get magic off and stuff. So I'm hoping to get some spells off. I've got a juicy overrun into that other Elder. If I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So let's go. Basically, is my thoughts.
Did you not think of going into the flank of the? Oh no, you can't. Yeah.
I was front for everything. I could have. I could potentially, instead of charging my guys on the right, just move them up to chaff, because the same thing. It doesn't matter whether I charge or not. There's no extra. It doesn't make either of us any better. So there's potential so that I have less combat rounds. Is the thought, but I decided let's go in. Be aggro, and the aggro continues.
Sally, go for it.
Yeah. And then I chaff both his warrior units in order to stop any counter charges on my wild horns when they go into. I'm saying when. I bloody hope they do 15 wounds. But if / when they go into the Elder. Just something to note: my Cyclops rolled a 1 and couldn't shoot last turn or this one. So that's why I haven't mentioned him yet. Lastly, put the Jabberwock in the side. I'm trying to get the AP2 breath weapon off just to do some wounds, and the Gortak goes up as much as possible to try and smash up the infantry, which is what he's good for. So again, if it all pays off, I'm doing all right. Doing all right. I'm gutted about Centaur, better at Kruger, but otherwise, it's in the balance.
Yes.
Get +1 attack, which is great, and plus 2 AP, I think, as well. Blood is on totem. And
so you're going to be AP 4.
Yes. So AP 4. So for the Elder is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
+1 attack as well. So that includes my characters.
Yes.
Good. Because I played it like it did, so I just want to double check. And then Battle Focus, Fearless, and Frenzy. So, which Fearless is actually really important for the Longhorns. Something I'd never I noticed in the first battle, but didn't notice, and so it's now become. This is the spell that everyone lets off. And it actually is so important to get that Fearless off, so they're not doing Fear or -1 Legion or blah blah blah, because they're probably gonna lose. They'll do loads of wounds, but they'll probably lose combat. That's why the Bodyguard is available on them. So yeah, actually it's really important.
Yes.
But Battle Focus is great as well. So
that is twinned with the Hatred as well. The Primal Fury,
right?
It's called. You can just do silly amount of wounds.
Yeah. But what I do find is with my magic setup is actually I've got decent buffs and decent redundancy of buffs. So you've not really got any good options to dispel.
No.
Most of my dispelling is like my magic. Once I get into combat, is really really good. I did consider getting some buffs on my wild horns. Maybe give them extra strength and do all that stuff, but I just thought that it's so important to wipe through the wretched ones so I did.
Yes.
I was actually really lucky to only lose 7 as well. Another one where Tony's dice weren't great on his side. So
Yeah. Because they
um,
attack again, don't they?
yeah, again
With
they've got, and even the ones in the back do D6 plus 1, just
okay.
brutal. So I had 5d6 plus 5 attacks at me, but luckily I'm the same res. I've got a little bit of armor, all that stuff. And just coupled with his bad rolls, just meant I only lose 7. But it is still 7. It's still a quarter of my unit, so
Yeah.
it's one of those. But I wipe them, which is great. I go through to the Elder. I'm pretty confident of doing some big damage to the Elder as well.
You should hurt him. Yeah.
With all the buffs off in his combat phase, and I've chaffed them so they can't get into me. So all in all, that's pretty good.
What's the distance to the warriors behind?
I think it's, well, at the minute it's like a 6 or something, but that's if they don't charge.
Yes.
The things and get out basically. Because if they charge the flank there, it doesn't look like it here, but if they charge the flank, they actually get out. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, my ambushes on the right don't do any wounds. Take 2. I think I win by 1, but he holds, and actually that's pretty bad because I need him to, again. I don't think I'm going to do any wounds. I just want him to break. Outside of his general's leadership and all that jazz, I just need him to break that turn when I've got the charge and stuff like that. But now we're in a grind, so I'll be steadfast for a while, but I'm not great steadfast leadership with my core. But at least it's holding him up, so I've got that on my favour. I don't do any wounds to Elder, which is not surprising. Not high AP, and he's 3 up armour, all that jazz. And he again only does 6 to me, which
You're steadfast for ages, aren't you?
yeah, pretty. Yeah, again, I'm literally steadfast for days in this. So, but he's got a chariot come in as well. So yeah, either way, I think on reflection, even now, I was thinking actually it probably best that I just chaff rather than go in now, because that's 6 more that he would have to do before, next turn if he charges. So maybe I was better off just chaffing rather than going in. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see in the long run. His chariot comes in. Ovs really had nothing else to do. And they charge both there. Oh, maybe he doesn't. But yeah, anyway. But he charges both to get in. He actually thought if he charges both, he could then choose which way they run. And I said, yeah, absolutely, if you don't kill those 5 gargoyles. Because if you kill them, you can only overrun. And he went, oh, well, I'm definitely killing 5 gargoyles with 20 warriors, some in the flank. I was like, yeah. I was like, oh. So we had that as well. He was like, oh, did you not see what you just did? And I was like, what did I do? I was like, oh shit, what have I done? He was like, oh, I can overrun. I was like, oh yeah, but only if
they're alive.
You don't, yeah. So I was like, oh, I really hope they die. I really hope my models die. This is how it worked over here. So he's just turned around his magic users and chosen knights to face them. Because why not?
Where's your Jabba? Is he still on the left?
Yeah, Jabba's in the forest over here. Still on 2 wounds, so yeah, doing alright. Oh, this was showing that in my turn, I'm now 1-0 up in the objective. Because I'm within 6 inches and he is not. So, good start. The Jabba was still here, and then Evo Magic killed him also because he's only got 4 up armor and no Aegis, and Evo's pretty good for killing single models. He kills the gargoyles. Thank God. Whew. I mean, he massacres them if I'm honest, but yeah. So then he just turns to face. We'll probably see in another thing. He kills 2. I do 1 wound to him, and I've got a rank, so we basically just stick around again. Yeah, all good. If I can do that every turn, I only need 4 more turns of combat. And I'll be steadfast. So just keep plinking, boys. Keep plinking. There's hope. Significantly more than 6 damage to me, but I'm still steadfast and still within range. So they hold.
Awesome.
which is good. But again, I need them next turn. Is the really important one. I need them to hold one. My guys do the business, man. I think I took a few wounds because of initiatives or whatever, but because the Elder's like agility 4 or something as well. So even my guys, I think I do like 5 out of 6 wounds with my characters, which is great. So I'm probably gonna kill it, but he gets to attack, so he still does I think 3 or 4, right? But yeah, so that's where we're at. And I've overrun. He turns to face because he can't get out of my overrun, so he just turns to face like that. So I overrun into his warriors.
Nice.
Should be good, right?
Should.
So I got rid of an elder. Holding up stuff. Let's see. I'm feeling pretty good. It's not. It's a bloodbath.
Models off him,
yeah, it's bloodbath, but it's bloodbath both ways at the minute. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We'll see. I charge his other warrior unit. He does well to not allow me any overruns. Potentially could have charged that back unit. I'm not sure why I didn't. Because overall it seems like the better option because it's got his sorcerer in it.
And you got out of charge range.
Yeah, I think it might have been that it was a 10 or something, and I didn't. I don't have Swift Ride on a Gore-Tex. I don't think he's a beast. I think he's gigantic infantry.
It's gigantic, yeah, infantry.
So maybe I didn't. It was like an auto. Well, like I needed a 4 or something for these, and I needed something higher. It's surprisingly higher. So I think I just didn't take the risk.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But yeah, perhaps in hindsight, it was better to get into the guy. I did in my previous phase get these. Oh no, this phase actually get these magic coughs. So I got Break the Spirit on his Chosen Knights. Very cool.
I love that spell. Really good spell.
Oh yeah, well that's what I mean. He stopped all my totems, which actually is really easy to do as a defensive person. However, what it does mean is that I will get some shamanism spells off, which great. So I've got Awaken the Beast to make everyone strength 6 or higher in that unit, and Break the Spirit on his Chosen Knights for an inevitable countercharge. So again, feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good with how the magic's panning out. Really liking the magic combo of the totems and the shamanism. Although I have been told, and it would make sense, that actually druidism is quite good with beasts because you get to regrow stuff, but it's boring. Anybody who takes that, you're boring. You're a boring person if you take druidism.
Combination of totems and the druidism though is quite nice. You do get the buffs.
I know, but I really want to check shamanism with beasts. I feel like it works, but yeah, I do know. So I kill all but one here, which is cool. And he flees, obviously. Sorry?
3. You lost 3.
Yeah, I lost 3, which is fine. Again, the agility, they're the same agility as my normal dudes, I think. And I don't know what happened there. Have I got 2 there? Yeah, 2. Blurry and not blurry. So we'll sit with the not blurry. And then I don't think you can see it here. Ooh, whoa. Chill out, boys. What's going on? Right. I choose not to go after him. Again, don't know where I was caught in two minds really. It's whether or not I turn to face everyone or go after him, and I didn't know which one was the best option. So I chose
Is that impassable or ruins?
Ruins behind him, but it's not really behind him. Like I wouldn't have gone through it. I'd have gone this way. So I chose to turn to face the action because I thought, well, that's the only way I'm going to win. Plus, I wanted to be. This is end of my turn 3 now, I think. And if I turn to face this way, I can be within the objective. So it makes me 2-0 up. So I'm like, it just comes down to whether the Longhorns can take the damage. Had a bit of a thing with the Gore-Tex. Is that it went in. He only did 5 wounds, which meant they were steadfast, I think. Or do I have a rank technically?
Monstrous rank, yeah.
Oh. But whatever happened, they rolled really low anyway to stick around, and I was like, I was gutted on that because I really wanted to overrun. It was my ideal there, and keep him
Yeah.
sort of semi-safe. I did with the Gore-Tex. I did 5 wounds. One of them was a lethal strike, and he got it. He regained the wound, so that was cool.
Nice.
But yeah, a bit underwhelming that he couldn't do more than 5 with his 5 attacks and the Thunder Stomp or Stomp D6, whatever. But
Impact hits as well?
does he have impact hits?
Yes.
I may have missed it.
Okay.
I may have missed impact hits if he's got.
I think it's only D3. I think, but still
Okay.
strength 6.
But yeah, so really with a D3 plus a D6 plus his attacks, I'd even though they're warriors, I'd still expect to do more than 5. I think.
Yeah.
So he on this occasion underperformed, I think, and they stuck around because of it. So bit gutted for that. He does 2 wounds to me. I don't do 1 to him, which means I test, but I'm steadfast and hold. So it's held for his turn, which is great.
Yeah.
This one not so great because I did a wound to the chariot, perhaps a wound to the elder, but my steadfast. I was 9 because of the general rerollable, down to 8 because of fear. I think I rolled a 9 and a 10 for my 2 roll, and I was just like, that's really annoying because I've just turned to face the action with my longhorns, and now the elder is in my rear, and he loves infantry. So I feel like this, on the whole, really turned the rest of the battle to come. Not that I'm spoiling anything, but this was them not passing their steadfast here was gutting for me, because if
you'd hope they'd hold you for another couple of rounds at least.
I just want this round because it's his turn next. That's all I want. You've done your job if you do that. And I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't have got it even if I hadn't charged that first time round, because it was steadfast anyway. But this was like probably my biggest. I haven't had bad rolls in this game, but the fact that roll went bad, it almost like scuppered my plans really, because I don't now get to choose to fight all this other stuff one by one. As you'll see,
it's all coming at once.
So yeah, 2-0, great. But now he's all coming at once, and obviously because he's got this in here, it's his turn. He'll choose to do this combat first, and he's got a nice juicy overrun into me, and they're probably his best combat units.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt.
And all going first and stuff. So even though I've got strength 6, which is nice, and he only does 1 wound to himself. Oh no, I don't think he takes any wounds from the what's it called? Break the spirit either. Ouch. Just turns to face. He actually completely forgot about the Cyclops. So, and by the way, Cyclops done nothing. So that's probably why he forgot about him, because he just didn't. He's done bugger all.
Points reservoir.
Right. So I don't know why, but Tony decided to do this combat first.
Right.
Because what I thought is, if he does the other one, then he's got 2 rounds. But however, he did it for a reason. I think because he wanted me to turn and stuff to potentially face the elder. So he didn't want me to know what he was going to do with the Chosen Knights, basically. So he did this first, and
surely he would have just blown through and then gone into it.
Well, anyway, I think because of the -1 to hit, he was like, well, if he turns to face the elder, he'll go in because he's in the rear. But if he doesn't, because of the -1 to hit and things and the dangerous terrain, he might actually stay there and just wait for his next turn, because I won't be able to charge him regardless. So I think it's that sort of. And actually, it wasn't in the moment. It wasn't a bad idea, because it made me really have to think about what to do. But from my point of view, I wanted to be able to attack and be able to attack both units should the option come about. And I'm bodyguard, so I don't care about whether I've got 50 men or 1. I will still be bodyguard as long as I've got 1. The elder did do about 8 wounds, which was mental. I think he rolled a 6 on his impact stomp, whatever, and it just blew through me, which wasn't great. So I've gone like this. basically so that all my characters can strike the Elder if the Chosen Knights come in. Because I think with all the strength, the Awakened Beast, and all my magic potentially being pretty good, and maybe getting a few different buffs off, I might be able to kill the Elder.
Yes.
So just to give myself some options, and hopefully if I can kill the Elder, he doesn't do that many damage to my Longhorns. Yeah, the Longhorns.
Yeah.
And then he has a decision to make on whether to charge with his, or like overrun potentially with his Chosen Knights, and I can do all that stuff. It's not looking great for me, but this was the best position I could give myself, I think. And we were both like, oh yes, good idea, sort of thing. But yeah,
No, I understand what you're trying to do.
again, it's taking these bigger risks because I just have to in order to give myself some sort of chance. Because Chosen Knights coming in is brutal.
Yes.
Yeah, so 7 he did. Sorry, not 8, but yeah, enough to make me go ooh. And not many things make me go ooh.
No.
My wife's not listening, hopefully. So it isn't even funny. He just, it's not even close. He did like 12 wounds or something, like just absolutely ridiculous. Even with the Break Spirit, just blew through my Gortak, and Gortak's gone. Yeah, that happens. Did some wounds over there, and I think I hold again, which is a bit irrelevant at this point, but it's good to know. I still don't do any wounds though. I just can't. I mean, let's be honest. I'm wound on 6s, and he's got 3 up when I do, so it's unlikely anyway. But
is it a Chosen Chariot?
No,
or
just warrior step, but still res 5, 3 up armor.
Oh yeah, still horrible.
Yeah. So yes. And as the warning showed, that is the last picture because what happened here is he did overrun. I did 1 wound to his Gortak with all my characters. His Chosen Knights and Gortak completely forgot about my characters and went after the Longhorns, which is the exact right thing to do. I was auto break. This was his turn 3, turn 4, so he would eventually go on to win the objective 3-2.
Yes.
And I have a Cyclops left.
Was he aware of that?
Well, I don't know, but I don't think he cared either. In the same breath, so that ended it up. Technically, I don't think it's a 20-0. I think I did enough to maybe scrape a 19-1, but I'm giving it to him because we shook it there. I didn't go the next 2. I took my handshake, so Tony spanked me 20-0. Well done, Tony. Played really well.
I think Warriors are a really bad matchup for Beasts.
Do you? I mean, I'm desperately trying to get someone to tell me that, so it just make me feel better after a 20-0.
Even with like the Chariot spam, I came up against Warriors and I just bounced. So even though I was going in units of 5 Chariots with like the ESB and stuff like that, and still just bounce.
I was thinking there's a high chance, and it happened really, the armor actually being a crucial part in this matchup because. Combat-wise, I don't think Warriors out combat us. They've got better weapon skill. They've got better softer stats. With the same res mainly across the board. It's just the armor. The armor is the big difference. I think we can
effectively Beastmen are Warriors with no armor.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I think I think we slightly edge it with the rerolls to hit, if I'm honest.
Yes. And the totems.
And the fact that actually the magic with my magic setup anyway is really specific to combat. So warriors dabble a lot because there's no. Whereas I think this I will get some really potentially harmful spells, whatever spell I get off. And if I can get 1 or 2 with say like a last minute totem, if they decide not to stop something else which is more important, then I think it does stack it in my favour. But it's not necessarily the wounds done, it's the wounds taken, which if they do wounds to me, I will take all of those wounds. Where if I do wounds to them, they've got chances of surviving. And I think that's one of the big ones. Yeah. So I think that perhaps it almost highlights all the spells with AP on them, which people are clever enough to stop.
Yes.
In which case it gives them that chance to do, and sometimes does. Like things like, I think I got a little bit unlucky, but not. I think perhaps it changed it from a small loss, or like one of those.
So, for example,
weird ones.
Your chariots, you were 1 inch.
Yeah.
Too far.
Yeah.
And then also again, like the steadfast rolls.
Yeah, the steadfast. I think the big one is the
Yeah.
steadfast here, but I think Tony played everything really well, as well. So I think, yeah, it was a mixture of that really. I think he got really unlucky in the first early stages. I genuinely thought I was looking on for a good, nice win there. The Centaur going down early was a big one actually. Not because of points, mainly because of the threat he has as from the Hawthorn Curse on his chosen knights. And if I'm able to dance around for 6 turns and shooting at his chosen knights, then I think I have a much better chance of getting rid of them and then tackling all of his other threats one by one. So I think if I was to do this exactly the same again, I would stop. I would let him go at my Gortak, but it's not a nice choice to make.
So was your Gortak down when he dropped?
No. But he'd put his sorcerer dead in the middle. So and he's got Veil Walker, so pretty much wherever I put my Gortak, unless I don't want him in the battle, which I do, because I want him against my best thing for him is the infantry, right?
Yeah.
So I need to go against them. So I chose to put him there, protect him, get him into the infantry, which I did. It got to that point. He just didn't wipe through the infantry for whatever reason. I think mainly the defensive skill was quite higher, so I wasn't wounded as much. But I think I might have forgot about the impact hits. Not sure.
I could be wrong. I thought he had D3.
He might do. He might have all sorts of rules I've forgotten. I was just happy he was in combat. I was.
I think it's amazing that he gets Primal Fury as well. I think that's awesome.
Yes, yeah. So it's one of those. A really fun game. I think Tony deserved the win as well. So yeah, roll on the next one.
Yes. Just
trying to learn the Beastman is my thing. See what's good.
You don't see very many infantry-based beastmen.
No.
It's one of the things that I would love to do.
Yeah. It's half the reason I've chosen what I've done is, because I want to... I mean, some of them are trials. I'm not sure it all synergizes perfectly with each other, but I want the infantry block to work. I want the Longhorns. They're the elite of the beast. I want them to be elite. So we work with them. We see what we do. I've got a few more games lined up. So we'll see. We'll see how they get on.
Fair enough.
Awesome. But yeah, so that is it for now. I've rambled on for long enough. We need some beer. Yeah, I guess that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. If you are wanting to support us, like, share, subscribe. If you want to support us and profit yourself, go to Gobbo, who's got some commissions on the way anyway for some people, which is great. And you could be one of those very soon. All the contact details are in our description below. Hit us up, YouTube, Instagram, or on all the social medias. You can Twitter us, or you can check our book with faces. And there's forum shizzle going on, all that stuff. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying at this point of the battle. But yeah, check us out. Like, share, subscribe, or just watch the videos. Comments. We like comments. Love comments.
We do.
So yeah, check out our new sort of mini series as well on the army chats, which have been quite cool. Beast Heads are one of them. But also we've just had Demon Legions released, and we've got going down the alphabet. So they're pretty cool ones as well, and then obviously all our other videos with Gobbo's showcases and tutorials and blah 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 blah. All that stuff.
Loads going on.
Loads. Too much, some would say. Not enough, others say. You can never please everyone.
No.
But it's just nice not to have Hyper-G, right? That's the main thing.
It's quieter, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shh. Right. Well, I'll edit that out. Anyway, see you later, and look forward to next time.
Cheers, guys. See you soon.